Welcome to the channel where all you gotta do is fix shit. Well, today we got this cement diamond cutter and this little bulb disintegrated. So a few weeks back I ordered some new ones. Boop. So I was going to replace that today, but since I'm a nice guy and I don't like getting dirty, I decided I'd pressure wash it, which I did. Looks good. And then to make sure I didn't ingest any water through the exhaust, I pulled the ripcord. Uh-oh. And I guess I got two things to fix. So this is pretty common. They break right here at the edge. You always end up with one cord about 3 inches shorter than it was originally until you can't start it anymore, and then you get a new cord. So since I'm a factory trained Stihl distributor, no, I never worked on one of these before. Figure it out. How hard could it be? So my dad's got a mean set of tools and I got some myself. So I'm going to tear into this thing and see what has to happen. So, might as well attack the most concerning problem, which is the fact that it won't start. Take some 13mm. Literally done no maintenance to this thing other than put fuel in it. 2 years I've owned it. 2 or 3 years, I guess. I bought it used before that. I guess I did fix this hose. It doesn't really count as maintenance though. It was leaking oil and water all over my foot. I don't know how to fix that. Probably wondering why I have a rag down here. I don't like rusty welding benches, so I did the calculations. It seemed like it was going to be less effort to put an old towel down than it would be to sand the rust off. So there you have it. Whoa, it's belt driven. Interesting. Alright. I haven't played with one of these since my go-kart days, but probably the same. Alright, so we'll pop this little guy out with some needle nose pliers. Like I said, I'm a factory trained knot. Alright, for some reason this is all wet. Oh, wait, I remember now. It's not nesting in there as nice as I would like to see it, but I'm here to redesign it, so it will be okay. Alright, presumably there's a spring down there. Way down there, there's a little spring that you gotta wind up. So, So what I've done is I've put this rope in the little slot there, and then wind up that spring. Yeah, about that much seems good. Jam it through the hole. If I was a smart person, I would have got a pair of vice grips prior to this, but planning is not my forte. What I can do is walk to the toolbox with this in my hand because it weighs 4 ounces. So, stick that around there like that there. And I'll put the stress bearing back on, and not sure how they did this, but it looks pretty clever. It appears to me that this clip is a double duty clip. It's got this little extra hairpin over here, and that goes around this pawl. So not only does this clip hold the chingadera on, it's the spring for that pawl. Pretty clever. They probably save 4 cents. But if they make 10 million of these, that's whatever that multiplication is. You're probably thinking, aren't you supposed to put that in the hole? Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it. Factory trained, remember? All right. Huh. Hopefully that's how it's supposed to go. Seems anyway, put it back together the way you took it apart usually works, so that's what I'm going to go with. Alright, so now we'll loosen these vice grips up just a little bit so we're not damaging that. Jam that in the hole, and then this looks like it's a pretty fancy knot. I don't know if I could replicate that. Yeah, look at that. That's probably called something. So it has a double twisty thingy, and I'm going to call that a double half hitch, even though it probably ain't right. You hear that mosquito flying around? Oh, it's a horsefly. It's good. Yeah, I'm just going to granny knot. If it falls off, what? Oh no, I know how to fix it. My brother took a bunch of fucking sailing classes, and he had to learn a billion times way to tie a knot, but I'm not sure that was a good effort in time management. He also learned how to juggle, which seems fucking useless to me, but whatever. I guess if you're picking up chicks at the bar, maybe it gives you somewhere. You didn't know I was a philosopher, did you? Let's jam that in the hole, it'll be fine. Oh, baby. Alright. So I don't think I need to worry about this being on to take this off to fix the pumper, but worst case scenario, I'll take it off and start over. That was a relatively easy fix, only because I'm a factory trained, authorized mechanic for the Stihl TS420. I wonder if the stoners like this model. And the torque spec on this is probably about, yeah, not much. $12 to 14 newton meters. Yeah, that's it. All right, job one, job done. Probably should start this thing up. Make sure there's no water in it like I intended originally. Nothing like the smell of two-stroke in a closed shop. All right. So there's probably no water in it. These look like Torx bits of some sort. All right. Out, prying the thing with a screwdriver. That seemed to have worked. All right. Not sure if this little pin's got to come out of here. Doesn't seem like it should have to. These guys back here probably. The old curveball on me, eh? Yeah, that's long. My Torx bit's not long enough to get. Yeah, there's your problem. That's how you're supposed to do this. That's why they make my script. That was way too tight. So if you're going to do this at home, I highly recommend a extra long set of Torx wrenches. Seems to be the only major malfunction of mine. Alright, so looks like the throttle lever is the only thing keeping it from moving up any farther, but I think I can get the new pump in there without taking that off. So in there is the pump. Theoretically looks just like this one, so it just has some clips. So if I get my Craftsman pry bar out, should be able to facilitate its removal relatively easily. Yeah, I can remove it, but I can't get it back on because these hose barbs are... Okay. So I'll have to science out how to get this throttle lever off of here. So that little guy. Looks to me like you just pry this out a little bit. Driver, or whatever the factory service tool is, and then pop this out. Just pull out a little bit. But it's going to be impossible for me to film doing that. But that's what I'm going to do. I'll probably put some vice grips on that guy right there. And pry this open a little bit. I don't know why people say vice grips are the wrong tool, because they usually are the right tool. Not the big guns, which actually is little. Tiny, tiny vice grips. Holy shit, Batman. It worked. Alright, so now we can get this thing out of the way. There is still a wire on here that's just for the kill switch, so let's see if we can focus better on the inner workings there. Alright, so this is the chingadera that I need to replace. And of course the hoses have like 0 extra slack in them. Nice. Thanks guys. Totally appreciate that. And this is probably gotta go the correct direction or it will pump backwards. Hopefully there's an arrow on this or something. But there's not. Using Craftsman pry bar number 3/16. That's the good kind. These hoses seem to be a little bit weathered. Get some of that yuck out of there. Reminds me of being a dentist. All right, one's off. All right. So. When I say off, I mean coming off. Starting to get ready to come off. Alright, that one's completely off. And I'm going to mark these hoses right now because I have a green mark to the back. Probably don't need it, but I don't want to put this thing back together and have it not work. Okay. That is disgusting. Alright, so it appears to have a little bumpy on one side. See, there's a little square thing on one side. And the other side there's not. So, good thing I marked it. That green mark is the one that goes to the back. So it was on there like that. So this one goes like that as well. And this hoser here is on the front. You got big hands? This is going to be a little bit harder. It's a bit fiddly, whatever that means. I think it's a British word meaning, I don't know the right word. Kind of like Jingadera. Boop. Alright. So yeah, there's no way to put it on backwards. There's a little notch right there. You can see that. There's a little notch, so you can't put it on backwards, or at least it won't snap in. So we'll give Stihl a couple extra points for that. You know, these hoses are super short. Alright, I think we're good. Snap it back into its little moorings. Oh yeah, nice satisfying snap. And then let's do a couple of pumpies here. Oh yeah. Nice and full. Alright. So from here on in we just need to close the patient and fire it up. Probably put the throttle cable Jingadera back on, but that should be easy now that I know how it goes. And I have the proper tool. 50-cent Task Force vice grips. Imagine if this was probably don't have to move it as far to get it on. It's already seated. Let's try that. The biggest problem is you just can't see what you're doing. Everything's darker than a coal miner's asshole in here. All right. That's it. Oh. All right. So now we just have to put these screws back in. That is very strange routing for those wires, but it looks purposeful. Probably if they get too close to the spark plug, they shit the bed. I'm against that today. Yeah, it looks like those weren't even put in from the factory quite in the channel, because again, it's pretty fiddly. I say stay, and you don't. It's a little bit even more challenging because the screw doesn't remove, and when you try to slide this thing on, the screw hits it and knocks the wire back out of its little hole. And I don't want to pinch that wire. It doesn't really stay in there very good. All right. Bien. And then these are the wood screws that go in the back. When you're playing with these wood screws, you want to stick them in the hole and then turn it backwards a little bit when you feel it fall down. And it's so otherwise, if you take it apart again, every time you put it together, it's making its own thread, and that's not a good plan. So the other ones look like they have actual threads. Machine screws in them. This one is the other half of that one. These machine screws go in the back here. And this one goes here. That one's still in there, so don't really need to worry about that too much. I'm just going to make it, this is the wrong size Torx, but the right size with the screwdriver handle, but this will drive them in far enough that I can. There we go. All right, job done.